guys, welcome back. This is the Syntax Sorcerer, and today we are going to be doing if statements. Dun dun dun. What are if statements? Well, they're kind of exactly what they sound like. If something. So they are essentially a decision-making process when it comes to your coding. Think of a condition that can be true or false. For example, is we're going to say the light in your room is on, that's true, and the light in your room is off, that's false. So when you walk in your room and the light is on, then you know the condition is true.
What I don't like is if the business is true.
Hope that makes a little sense. But with that, we are going to compare two numbers against each other today. And mind you, none of this has to be just true or false. But for simplicity's sake on learning if statements, we are going to just do a true and false sort of scenario. So, how are we going to start that? Well, as per usual, we are going to go into our static main. And then we are going to start, let's go with console.writeLine. And then we're going to say, why you do this? Oh, it doesn't like me today. .writeLine. Then we're going to say, let's say, enter your first number. And give it a little space, remember, because it's going to, if you put it right there, it's going to look weird. Give it a little space. And then what do? We always close it with a semicolon. A little squiggly line gone. So what's this going to do? Asks the user for the first number through the console window. All right. And then with that, we are going to get the first prompt. So give me 1 second here. My notes just disappeared. There we go. Fixed it. All right. So then the first number we're going to get is going to be int, and we're going to call it num1. And then we're going to make sure we int parse console read line, just like that. Okay, you don't want to work with me today. That's fine. Because what does read line do? Read line is going to take in what the user gives us. Cannoli. All right. Read line. As you can see, I made a couple spelling errors there. And then we're going to end it. So we're going to ask them, this is going to write the line into the dialog box, the console window, enter your first number. And then we are going to output, we're going to expect an input. It's going to be in parse, and we're going to name that first input num1. All right. Stay with me. We're going to get moving here. Then we're going to say console.writeLine, and we're going to say enter. Oh gosh, I keep forgetting this. Enter. We'll go with the same statement. Your second number. Again, a space and semicolon to get it. Close the argument. And then we're going to say asks user for second number. And again, we know this is through the console window. I mentioned it up there earlier. So now we're going to do int num2. Oh my gosh. My hands are not in the right place on my keyboard. Sorry. And we're going to do the int parse console read line. So we're going to get that console's going to pop up. It's going to give just a little dot blinking there. And we're going to get that int num2. And it's going to feed that in. And some of you are going to say, well, what if I put a letter in there? What if I do that? It's going to take it. It's going to put it in there. And then it's going to give you an error. So now there are normally, in the future, we are going to essentially dummy-proof our program. Excuse me. We're going to dummy-proof our program. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to say if char, if string, give this error. But right now, we're just going to assume that people are smart and they want to do this correctly. So, first if statement. All right. We don't really need a period there, do we? So then we're going to say if, and now we put something in an argument, num1 is equal to num2. And then we're going to do, I always like them like that. I think it looks cleaner. Let me just fix something. My notes went all crazy because I realized I deleted something. We're going to do console right line. And remember, we need this for characters. We're going to say num1. Let's give it a space. Is equal to num2. And close that out. Now we're going to go over this in just a second. I'm going to go over the meanings behind this. I'm going to go over why we're doing it the way we're doing it. Just follow along for a second. And if you have any questions, throw them in the comment section, but it will get easier. So next up, we're going to say if you saw that, it gave me a little else statement. We'll go over else statements later. But, oh, don't do that. Back to your spot. There we go. We're going to say if num1, let's say, is not equal to num2. So if number 1 is not equal to number 2, then we're going to say console dot right line, and then we're going to say, and then make sure we put this in right. Why are you doing this to me today? It does not like me today. I'm also a little rusty today. Oops. Num1, close the bracket, is not equal, equal to num2. All right. And that's what it's going to print out right there. If number 1, first number that we take in up here, is not equal to the second number we take in, it's going to print that out. These are going to only be if the statement is true. Remember that. They're not going to print anything out if the statement is false. So if the statement is false, it's not going to display anything. And again, we're going to get more into that, and I'm going to show you at the end why and how it's going to work. And we'll go over all the small details in a little bit here. So now we're just going to have some more fun with it. We're going to do like if, oh gosh, I got to make sure to warm up, so stop being so embarrassing. If, yeah, we'll do that. If num2, and you see how it's, I'm going to do this for you guys so you can see. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it, but some people prefer it, some people don't. We got console.writeLine, and then it's going to be our character, num1, is, oops, not operating system, is, why, don't come at me for this one, is, I know why, I know, guys, I figured it out, I'm smart, is, less, my god, less than num2. Oop, nope, needs to be num2. That is just giving me all the errors. Where did I forget to? That needs to be there. And now it fixes. You see, I don't like this. And you can see kind of why. If you look, like, it's not terrible. But, like, it kind of adds its own spaces. I just think it looks a little wonky. I prefer, personally, like this. It's much cleaner to read. But we're going to continue. I'm going to leave this one as is. And then we're going to say, let's do if num2 or num1 is greater than num2. Num2. We're going to do... Why are you, like, making my life hard today, Visual Studio? Console dot right line. And we're going to say boop, boop. There we go. And we're going to say num1, nope. num1 is greater than num2. All right. So that makes sense. We're doing simple arithmetic symbols. Very straightforward. No big deal there, guys. And again, we're going to go over some of the weirder stuff later. Let's do greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. So now we'll say if, oh gosh, I keep forgetting things. All right, anyways, if num1 is less than or equal to num2, we're going to say console write line character boop num1, no, let's do the output. Num1 is greater than or equal to num2. And then it autofills that for us. So that's going to print that out. And then I think we'll do one more. We're going to go, look at that. It knows exactly what I'm going to do. So we're going to type it out anyways because I need to warm up my hands and we all need to get better. We don't want to learn how to let the computer autofill all the time for us. If you're doing things like console write line, that's fine, but we're trying to learn if statements, and so memorizing the if statement is going to be much more important than letting it autofill. So we're going to do if num1 is greater than or equal to num2. And then again, and then console write line. And now we're going to do symbol. And do you guys remember why we put this in here? Because without it, let's show you real quick. These no longer display as actual variables. They display as characters. So when if this outputs, you will see these brackets. Remember that. That's important. That's going to be a coding mistake everybody makes in the future. So remember that. All right. Num1. Oh, I put greater than. I meant less than. Is greater than or equal to, and then num2. And then finish that off. All right. So, with that being said, I think that's pretty good for a starter if statement. So let's hit Control S. Oops. So let's hit Control S to save. Remember, the thing up there will go away if I do this. The little asterisk is right there. But when we hit Control S, the asterisk goes away. That means it's now saved. So the asterisk shows unsaved work. Remember that. It's important. All right, let's run it. All right, let's hope my console wants to pop up. Uh-oh. Access denied. Okay, so did we have an error somewhere? I know you guys can't see that, but let me just go through my code real quick, and we're going to see if there was an error or if it's just being silly. Okay, got console read line. I don't see any red squigglies, so I don't actually know where my error might be. Let me just check my notes. Let's see. Int num1 equal to int parse console.readline. Let's see. Does it say anything? This is a good time to explain. This is perfect. We're actually getting no errors. But what it is saying is there's a warning. Possible null reference argument for parameters s in int parse string s. Parse string s. Lines 9 and 12. Lines 9 and 12. Okay. Let's see. Int num1 int dot parse console dot readline. No, those are correct. Maybe it doesn't like the right line. Is that what I'm misremembering? We're going to try that, but technically, null reference, like, yeah, that's fine to have a null reference. We don't need anything in there because we're doing a read line. So Let's try running that with just the right statements. Nope. There we go again. Start program coding. All right. We're going to take 1 second and figure this out. All right. So I figured out what the problem was. Oh, excuse these. 9 is the button I used to pause. So it wasn't actually anything wrong. This was fine. Right line was fine. It's my antivirus. I forget to turn it off sometimes. And it thinks that there's like a weird program trying to run. So it's like, block that. It's no big deal. If you guys get the same error, turn your antivirus off. I use Avast, so I just disabled it till I restart my computer. And so with that being said, we're going to run it, and you're going to see that this actually does work. Hey, look at that. All right. So let's do a simple number. We're going to do 1 and 2. So now let's set this side by side so you guys can see. You notice we have 6 if statements, but only 3 displayed. With that being said, what does that all mean, right? Well, we got 1, 2, 3. 1 is not equal to 2. So, was this statement true? Num1 is equal to num2? No. So it's false. So it skips. It goes on to the next if statement. Num1 is not equal to 2. That is true. 1 is not equal to 2. So that is why we see, let's see, right here, as our first statement that prints, 1 is less than 2. So, where's less than? Oh, right. We had the weird one here. So again, this is the true statement. 1 is less than 2. Num1 is less than num2. Yes, that is true. That will print out. All right, and the last one, 1 is less than or equal to 2. Also similar to this up here. 1 is less than or equal to 2. Correct. Bam. All right. Let's do a couple more random tests, shall we? So let's go again. We're going to say 34 and 86. So again, here we go. 34 is, where's my mouse for you guys? There we go. So 34 is not equal to 86, obviously. 34 is less than 86. 34 is less than or equal to 86. That's kind of the same as 1 and 2. Hey guys, I just wanted to make a real quick interruption here. For some reason, my recording software paused in the middle for absolutely no reason, so sorry, there's a weird little editing skip here, but it just kind of picks up after we finish in the console. I just had to kind of make it look somewhat nicer, so again, I apologize. Again, I'll go over this in just a second. I ended up typing that thinking I was recording, looking over and seeing the blinking yellow pause button, so that's great. So let me just run this once, and we'll look at a quick example. We're going to say 45. Oh, because I probably hit 99 at some silly point. 12. All right. So quickly go over this. All right. So we can see that this is only printing out statements that are true. 45 is not equal to 12. This is true. 45 is greater than 12. This is true. 45 is greater than or equal to 12. This is true. Any statement, we have 6 statements. Any of the 6 statements that are false will not display anything. Why? Because they are skipped. The computer goes, if num1 and blah, blah, blah. Oh, nothing's filled out in here. So I'm going to go look at the next line. If num2, oh, that works. Yeah, I'm going to print something out. And then I go to the next line. If num1 is greater than or greater than to num2, yeah, that's also true. I'm going to print that out. So, all right. Oopsies. All right. So now, if the statement is true, it will print out. If false, nothing will be written to the console. It won't print out. The equals and equals to operator. This is an assignment operator, and this is an equality operator. This checks 2 values, which we call operands, and see if they are equal. This is a summation for mathematics. We have 1 plus 1 equals 2. You're not going to write 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. What you're saying is that 1 and 1 together are equal to 2, not that 1 plus 1 equals 2. I hope that makes sense. So again, summation, make 2 separate symbols. You're going to get weird operation errors if you try to use one of these in place of the other. Stuff's going to get all funky. So let's go over this. What does this mean? Not equal to. It's kind of yelling at you, right? Exclamation mark, not equal to. Equal to, not equal to. Super easy. We're going to go over some more in-depth if-else statements at a different time. This is going to start to make way more sense as we get into higher algorithms that have like a lot more depth to them. These are really simple, straightforward if statements, but these are really fun. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this little short video on if statements, and we will continue more in the next video. Thank you.